is going to be from Miller's team. It's going to be Max, and his parents are actually in the crowd as well. And the question is that going to be more energy for him, or is that more pressure? He's going in with an incredible mix of a ton of different troops, mostly from the Root Rider attacks, which we already know, but he's mixing an Electro Dragon, which can be used as funneling, but as well as like a time method where you're putting it on an outside storage and you're saving quite a bit of time.
Ooh, look at this. He could get a nice chain, maybe even get to the Eagle. He gets a hit on the Eagle. Let's see if we get that chain. Now, the chain is not going to continue. The E-Drag will go over. He is going to set up a beautiful funnel with this Electro Dragon. We saw that yesterday. Some surgical E-Drags. Seeking Air Mine will take that Electro Dragon down. The value is gone, but he did set up a little bit of pathing on the top.
But the Eagle has survived, and I think that was the big goal for him, to take that out. The King has walked in, is now going to be stuck on those defensive Clancaster troops as the main push is now starting with the Roy Champion trying her best to push everything further inside. The Root Riders should not go for the Expo, and most of them are staying in the core, but the troops are quite split right now.
That first overgrowth was deployed, which means all of those buildings will be unavailable for attacking, for defending. Those buildings are out of commission for just a short period here. But look at this strong push through the middle. Remember, those Root Riders, they walk right on through walls, but not only that, they destroy walls as they walk through. As he deploys that second overgrowth, Max is off to a strong start right here. I guess the story will be, is this their go-to strategy? We'll see as this war goes on, but Max is looking very strong. Lots of troops in the middle of the space. Still has Queen and Royal Champion ability, with some super barbs yet to be deployed.
Yeah, but the Town Hall and the troops' defenses around are going to wake up pretty soon, which means a lot of damage then for those troops. And that's exactly right now the timing. And take a look at that, Bash. The Town Hall is pretty much the last defense at this stage. The Rocket Spear has been activated. The Town Hall has to go down.
Max.
There goes the freeze.
Here
and
it
the
is.
last defense is now at the bottom far right side.
It's done. It's going to be a 3-star, I believe. He still has that Ricochet cannon, but it's open. Valkyrie's in there. Max celebrates. Good 3-star for the young man. I know I talked with him and his nerves were going crazy. So him attacking first and getting that 3-star, he has to feel great about that. But not only that, look at that. The parents are in the audience. Oh, what a feel-good story it's to.
And it has to be so good for the team having the young player performing first and as well delivering. What a great start for Miller's team. And as well, we have already said, those two teams, they are sharing a lot of history. And, well, Max is part of this because they somewhat changed players over the season, where Hawk was going for the other side, Max was as well, like switching sides, and there was a lot of community reaction to that, let's put it that way. So a really, really electrifying topic when it comes down to opinions there, and he is delivering versus his ex-team.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing here, is when you do bring in a new player, especially so late into the season, and essentially the Snapdragon Pro Series Season 5 was kind of his tryout. Funny enough, Miller's Team MG, they won the whole thing, so it makes a lot of sense for them to say, all right, Max, I think you earned that spot, but we're going to have to see if Darkstar for STMN can get that response. We saw yesterday, once you make that mistake and fall behind, it is so hard to make that comeback.
Yes, indeed. It is always hard to make that comeback, but we see as well, Darkstar is concentrating, and I think we should not let him wait because we are diving into the attack.
Darkstar is ready. Our first attack for STMN Esports, and it's going to be rocket balloons. We'll have to see if there's a fireball here on the Grand Warden. There is, along with an Angry Jelly. We see the Angry Jelly from time to time. Remember, that Angry Jelly is going to force the hero it's attached to only target defenses for the first 30 seconds. So that's very, very huge to set up this fireball and get the pathing, as fireballs are going to target the nearest defense.
And especially because time is always a big factor with this strategy. Being able to use this Angry Jelly, you can bypass the outside buildings and play some minions, play some archers as he is doing in behind the Warden. And because of the Warden Rage gem, he can make sure that he's really quickly going through those defenses and outside buildings. Right now, trying to push further into the core. I feel like the fireball is supposed to go around that core section with the multi-infernal tower, scatter shot, something like that. And he's preparing, and there we go. Fireball is flying and hitting the target. and the core is gone.
Boom goes the dynamite, the clan castle is down, and that's one of the big things with these fireball attacks. If you can destroy that clan castle before any troops come out, those troops are not going to be on defense. So being able to fireball and get down the clan castle is a huge, huge thing. Now here's one thing to keep an eye on. Yesterday we kind of saw with Gaku's attack, his queen got a little bit too close and the warden kind of followed that queen and it led to some issues. But it looks like Darkstar did a great job of keeping his king and queen away from the warden. The warden's job is to work on his own with those healers and get as much value and eventually get to that town hall.
Exactly, he's trying to get towards the town hall while the rocket loons should take down the No! The monolith's staying alive. He has to reinforce with more rocket loons. Can he take it out? And yes, it is going down, but it has cost him a couple of more rocket loons, which in the end on the back end could be a factor.
It's a pretty heavy back end. You're right. Ricochet Cannon, Royal Champion over there deploying. Here comes his Royal Champion into the mix. What do you see, Natsu?
I'm not sure. Okay, the town hall is going down because he was deploying her really close to the warden. He's switching over, and if that town hall would have not went down, the warden following, that could have caused disaster for him. But he's now closing in on the last couple of defenses.
Here we go. Rocket loons to be deployed. 7 rocket loons still. Also has that skeleton spell, which can distract some of these defenses, whether it be that Royal Champion, the Expo, that Ricochet Cannon. Those Ricochet Cannons can eat these heroes alive. Queen is forced to ability. She's going to have Magic Mirror and some healers popping out. Final few rocket balloons being deployed. It's looking great for Darkstar as they're trying to get on the board with the 3-star rebuttal from Milliceme MG, and it will be just that, Itsu.
It is going to be the 3-star, but remember, we have heard from a lot of teams, they're expecting 15 stars from their opponents. And this attack is not the fastest. So for everyone who is not maybe that familiar with Clash Esports, it's always the most important thing, stars. Yes. After that, it's percentage, and then the average time is the next tiebreaker. But if both teams are to be expected, or at least expecting each other, to get 15 stars, you have to consider time as a tiebreaker as well, and that attack was not really quick. We have seen some team mentioning that yesterday with Navi, who as well went in early with this fireball warden charge strategy, which is super consistent. It's one of the best strategies right now in the game, but it's just not as quick, which is a factor for those pro players.
Yeah, and we saw that with 2 minutes 33 seconds compared to Max at 1 minute 43. That's already a 50-second advantage, and if it does come down, we haven't seen a double perfect yet, but it does come down to, if it does come down to that, that time's going to play in. TryHard is going to be our next attacker against the captain of SCMN, Fluxxy. This is a very pivotal attack. I think every attack until someone misses is going to be so crucial. To have that mental focus, be in the zone, ready to go. You can't make any mistake. The first team to make a slip up could cost them the war.
That is right, we have seen that yesterday, and I think we should try to find out as quickly as possible. So let's see what Fluxxy has to do.
Let's see if TryHard will in fact try hard on Fluxxy's base. Here we go, more roots. Itsu, it looks like the double overgrowth roots might be Milliceme's strategy. We've seen this yesterday with MTFY. They were using Root Riders as well. I know we talked about all the nerfs. Roots have been nerfed 3 times themselves. Valkyries had a nerf, Super Barbarians had a nerf, even the Overgrowth spell had a slight radius decrease, so that every aspect of this attack has been nerfed, but these pros are seeing something that they like, and some consistency with the Root Rider strategy.
And especially they're so good in manipulating the pathing of those troops, because take a look at that. Sending the king for the town hall should go down somewhat soon, and this is now pushing all of the Root Riders into the core. The entire base is going to be open, and the Valkyries can really do their thing, spinning around, doing the damage, and this is exactly what he needs in this current position, with reinforcing from the outside with his Super Barbarians.
Yeah, we've always needed that synergy for the Valkyries, and the Root Riders bring just that. The one issue Valkyries have always had is they can kind of go astray, they can kind of get distracted, but with the Root Riders going to the middle of the base and opening it up, it allows those Valkyries to get in there, get between those defenses, spin a Rooney, and take everything down. They're fighting that Queen on the top side. If they can get her, it'd be great! Oh, not quite on the Queen, but still has plenty of force pushing through the bottom of this base.
There's another wall breaker, which he's going to use right now to get into the base. The wall break is not exactly going where it's supposed to go. If you're wondering, this is why we have those corner openings of the walls, to make sure that those wall breaks are really unpredictable. But now he has the Rage Tower activated, but I mean, come on, there is just so much power left. And TryHard taking Fluxxy out, taking this base out to get the next 3-star.
And to look at that time, 1 minute 34, 35. Oh, he has the Inferno. 1 minute and 38, 39. Oh my goodness, 39 seconds, but still sub 2 minutes, a much faster attack than what we have already seen from STMN. It's kind of interesting because we talked previously about the speed meta that we had previously, but now it's all about getting those 3 stars. But Millicene MG kind of bringing that speed meta back just a little bit here.
And I feel like even though it's unlikely to have those 15 stars, we have heard from so many of those teams that they're expecting those 15 stars. So this is really the mindset then, where they're then getting forced. Wait a second, do we have to go for time as well? Which is just such a big factor because it's putting so much pressure on their own team then, if you have to like run behind the other team when it comes down to time. So mixing up the strategy, for example, playing something which you're not really familiar with strategy-wise can be a factor. This is why we're highlighting it so much with those 2 teams, because I feel like they are incredibly consistent, and they were so good with the last couple of weeks of matches they played.
Yeah, that's something we're definitely going to keep our eye on throughout this whole group stage here today. But we're going to have Ninj attacking next, actually going against Max. 2 of the younger players here on the team, 2 Americans here, making their way to the big stage in Helsinki, Finland. Let's see what Ninj does.
He's as well one of the main base builders for Stamina Esports. He's really good with those bases, and it seems like they're just keep going with the Warden charges. They feel like, okay, they have enough good bases that they don't feel bothered risking the time factor. They're just saying, okay, we're trying to go as safe as possible with our attacks, and at some point, maybe through pressure with the stage, through something, there is going to be a fail on the other side. This is what they're banking on right now. The question now, though, is can they deliver with the strategy? Because we know it's powerful, we know it's strong, but we have seen fails yesterday with especially this strategy. So the question is, how safe is it actually?
Well, like you were telling me, it is a very safe strategy that can actually 3-star most bases when executed properly if you don't fall into any bait or anything like that. But the big issue, look at this, we're already 45 seconds into the attack and we really haven't done anything. We're just setting up the stage. We're just setting up the pathing. That Angry Jelly does come off the Warden. He's setting up the Fireball. Earthquakes are in, and there we go. Another Fireball lands right into the middle, actually taking out that Rage Tower also, along with the Clan Castle, but also the Town Hall got damaged, but there's a Battle Builder now healing that Town Hall up. We'll have to see if that plays a factor into the attack a little bit later on.
And take a look at this genius move. He is using loons, 4 of them, to make sure the Warden is going further to the right side because he wants to start with his heroes on the left side. He does not want to have the Warden following the heroes, so he's using 4 loons, so the Warden is following them, going further to the right side, away from his hero, so he can finally start and push the attack into the next stage, which is this hero dive. So a really smart use case right there from Ninj, making sure that he can push his heroes in the right direction without really like, well, doing anything else except just dropping loons.
Yeah, and that's a big part of this attack. It's almost like a tag team match here. King and Queen on the top, the Warden's on the bottom, and they're all in charge of separate areas of the base. And then we've kind of seen this where the Royal Champion will come in, help out the Grand Warden when he needs a little bit of assistance, and now he'll follow her along and they'll work together on the bottom side to finish through and get to that Ricochet cannon on the bottom side of, or the far side of the base, excuse me. Meanwhile, we got rocket loons being deployed. They'll clean up, take a little bit of that pressure off. This is very well executed for Ninj, just a little bit of slower attack.
Yeah, just such a safe strategy, and especially if executed properly like those pros are doing, it is looking so strong. Take a look at that, another Rage has been deployed. Yes, another Freeze not even deployed just yet, and this base is crushed. What a wonderful attack right there from Stamina Esports, and this means they're tying things up on stars in this matchup.
But Itsu, another slower attack. I know we're not expecting a double perfect, but the way these 2 teams are playing, neither attack has really been close. Let's be honest with ourselves. But all it takes is one mistake, but we still have 6 attacks yet to go in this war, and these 2 teams are playing really well. But if it does come down to time, Millicene were 50 seconds faster again. That means Millicene is already up nearly 2 minutes, a minute and 40-second advantage. I'm not expecting a double perfect, but we do have to take that into account. It's something we need to be aware of throughout this entire matchup.
Yeah, but as well, something which we have heard is that Stamina Esports has prepared so many bases.
Yes.
So I think they really believe in their own base building that they can defend this one crucial time. Even if it's a 99% 2-star, that will be totally enough for them to actually clutch out the victory. And I think this is exactly what they're counting on right now, which then gives us the question, okay, next attacker of Millicene, can they perform with what they have done so far, non-stop 3 stars, to really then counteract what on the other side Stamina Esports is hoping for?
Yeah, and it's a tough thing because you do all this preparation, but ultimately you don't know what your opponent's going to be using. You don't know that attack strategy. We're seeing the roots come back. Let's see if Nichoa continues that.
Are they going to switch things up? We have already seen it yesterday from the Chinese golden ticket winner team that they were using those Root Riders to quite some success. But no, it is actually going to be a different approach. It's going to be a mass super barbarian attack. That is really interesting. Is it going to be combined with the Warden Charge or something different? What exactly are we going to see here? Have as well the Flame Flinger setup, which is as well something slower, but at this point, Millicene, they have such a time lead. They can just do whatever they want right now, and this feels like exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, and they almost, as fast as their first 2 attacks up, they almost have a whole attack speed difference. And here comes that Grand Warden for the charge that you were speaking of, Itsu. Does have one Druid in there which can provide a little bit of additional healing, but the main focus is going to be on that Grand Warden. He does have that Fireball equipment. Remember, Fireball will target the nearest defense, and that's why we see so many invisibility spells in this attack strategy. He will use that invisibility on these defenses like we've seen on the other attacks, so he can get that Fireball just a little bit deeper in the base and get as much value as possible.
And as well, he has no poison in his army capacity, which means he wants to take down that clan castle with this Fireball. So he has to make sure that he's hitting that, because otherwise the clan castle itself could cause some serious issues with the follow-up of the attack then, and with the heroes, which he's going to send him later then. But there goes the invisibility spells. He's turning everything invisible. There goes the Fireball in.
Nice.
It's going to take down the clan castle. He has got the value he was looking for, I think. And now it's all about the heroes.
Yeah, it's very risky when you're going that deep with the Fireball, but Nichoa lands it with precision. Now a few Super Barbarians in. We do have the Super Minions out of that Flame Flinger joining the King. They'll provide a little bit of support, and kind of what we saw Ninj do, using those Super Barbarians to get that Grand Warden to go to the left side of the base. Beautiful Earthquake boots there from the King, opening up the base, and now the King and Queen have access to the Town Hall.
The Royal Gem is sending from the top side to take down as much of those key defenses around there. With her Rocket Spear equipment, I would assume she should take down quite a few of more buildings. Those Testa are not the biggest threat to her. There goes the shield into the Rocket Spear, and this base is not going to see another day. We see the celebration, we see the energy on stage, and the crowd's reacting. It's going to be the next 3-star.
There is a huge presence for MMG here in the crowd, and it is 2 minutes, 15 seconds on that triple. So even though that was their slowest attack, still faster than both of the 3 stars for Stamina Esports so far. Mills team look dialed in, they look laser focused, and they want to win this matchup.
And at this point, the question is really coming up. What is going to be now the game plan of Stamina Esports? Are they going to change things up? Are they going to try to go in with the more faster strategies, which we have seen early on from Millicene? Or are they keep going with the Warden charges? Are they counting now on really on this defense? Because I feel like if they're not starting now, there's no coming back anymore from this time deficit. They need 3 fast attacks. So far they were every single time slower. And this is now an extra pressure point, which they have on their shoulder.
Yeah, and you could almost argue that the time is already out of control. I mean, we were talking about 1 minute 40 seconds going into that attack, and their fastest attack was 2 minutes and 29 seconds. So we haven't seen them go fast. So I think they're going to be banking on that defense here as the final 2 attacks go. But ultimately, this is not an elimination matchup. That is something to keep in mind. Throughout the group stage, each team will play each other one other time. So even if Millicene do win this and Stamina lose, Stamina will play against Tribe just a little bit later on today. But Synthé is our next attacker. Let's see what he's bringing.
I can still remember Synthé from the Town Hall 15 meta. He was bringing the mad hard rider attack strategy, which was always so crazy to watch. And it seems like he is now switching to the air with 10 regular loons and 18 rocket loons. So I would assume it is still going to be that Warden charge with the Angry Jelly again. It is just such a powerful strategy. And like at this point, they're committed. They're just going for the 15 stars and their option as safely as possible with heavily thinking that they're going to get at least this one most crucial defense.
I almost think you have to in this situation, kind of just stick to your guns, kind of stick to the game plan. A lot of time in American football, we see a team come out in those first drives, like they have a plan and they're going to stick to it no matter what happens. And I think that's what Stamina could do right here for Millicene. He did have to make that Warden invisible, has to make him invisible again. Maybe burning through those invisibilities, still does have 3 of them. The Flame Flinger working on that right side. He is setting up that deep fireball. He does have a poison, so maybe not looking to take that Clan Castle out.
Yeah, maybe for something different. The fireball still can be used. A lot of invisibility spells, and this as well maybe the moment. Remember, it is a hard mode match. This means the equipment are downgraded a little bit. Common equipment's level 15 and the epic one's level 21. This is why you're seeing more earthquakes, because if you have a max out fireball, you only need 1 earthquake normally, but instead he is going in with more of them to make sure that he can take down whatever, and he actually took down the Clan Castle, and the poison was just a backup plan.
Yeah, just in case things would start, which we did see that Warden under a lot of pressure. He had to burn through multiple invisibilities to keep that Warden from getting taken out and getting that fireball deployed too early. Remember, the Warden, if he gets too low on health and would be essentially knocked out, that fireball is going to launch whether Synthé was ready or not. Now, King and Queen from the top side, that Warden's going to continue walking through here and picking up tons and tons of value. Beautiful Earthquake Boots will give the Queen access to the Town Hall. I think this is set up really nice, but again, time is a factor. Almost 2 minutes have elapsed in this attack.
Yes, around 70 seconds left for the attack itself, and there's overall a little bit of base left, but let's be honest, there's still the Roy Champion, there is 16 Rocket Loon. That is a lot of power for this backhand. At this point, I feel like the biggest threat to him is this Monolith in the core. But with having so much backup and still spells left, I think he's looking really good on this one, Bash.
One thing I'm kind of picking up here, though, is it seems like they're definitely going to be sticking to their game plan, because Synthé could have definitely picked up the urgency right there, but elected to let things play out a little bit. Didn't rush anything, so they're going to take their time, and they're going to hope for that defense for Millicene MG. It is going to be a 3-star for Synthé. It is very well executed, but again, that time may come into play. We are all tied up at 9 stars apiece as Synthé does lock down the 3-star. A well-executed rocket, balloon, Warden walk attack.
We have said Group B is an incredible close group, and the first couple of attacks showing that perfectly between those two teams. No fail just yet. Every single player has delivered and has gotten those 3 stars.
It's very, very consistent from our 2 squads so far. But look at that. Actually, the slowest attack yet. 2 minutes and 38 seconds for Synthé. I don't want to say it's uncharacteristic, but it seems like that's just their plan. They're going to use that strategy, which you and I talked about a lot, kind of off-cam preparation for the show. It's such a consistent strategy. It's so good. If you can control that Warden, keep him alive, which Synthé did a great job. He used those invisibilities. It is going to 3-star almost any base in Clash of Clans. However, with the Flinger, the setup for the Warden, it can be very slow.
It can be very slow indeed, and that can be a factor. I mean, we're highlighting it that it could be a factor. We have not seen so far a 15-15 score, but this match so far is looking incredibly good. And now, with the next attack on the menu for Millicene, it is going to be Kingsman going in. What is he going to bring? Are they now going to switch to the safe option now as well, with going with those Warden charges, like we have just seen with their last attack, or are they doing something different?
I think it's going to just kind of depend on what they've been practicing. I think all of our teams throughout, not only in Group B, but throughout, have that attack strategy they're very, very comfortable with. And I think that also is on a player-to-player basis. Each player knows what they're good with. They know what they can use. They know how they can get a 3-star. We will see him, Kingsman coming in, the captain of Millicene MG, looking to keep the streak alive. But if you're Stamina, right now, you need a defense in the worst way.
A defense would change the entire game right now. Another 3-star would make sure that Millicene is just keep staying ahead of Stamina Esports, and well, it seems like to be another Warden charge. It is just so powerful, it's just so consistent, and if you're not saying, hey, they're just 3-star every single base, I want to try the strategy as well at home, get ready, it can be frustrating, okay? It is not as easy as those pros make this look like. It is really powerful, but you need to keep that Warden alive, which is a lot of multitasking. But if you can master that, you are ready to go in Clash of Clans.
It is very tough. I've tried this attack strategy and keeping that Warden alive to get that deep value, get him pushed inside the base. But not only that, but making sure that your invisibilities cover all the buildings and cover the proper buildings. All it takes is missing one defense and your fireball is shot off to the side of the base. But these guys have practiced this. Fireball lands right in the middle of the base. The Earthquakes come in to take down that clan castle. Beautifully well executed for Kingsman. He is electing for the Super Barbarians instead of those rocket balloons. It almost feels like that's just kind of like a personal preference thing, because we've seen at the end of the attacks, whether it's rocket balloons or Super Barbarians, they're just there to kind of clean up and make some pathing for the heroes to finish.
Yeah, they're just the support, the backup plan pretty much, when the heroes have not already taken down everything. The siege barracks on this one as well, to make sure maybe things are a little bit faster, but as well the corners you can see on this base are well protected, so Flameflinger would have not gotten as much value since he's having a lot of expos or defending heroes where a Flameflinger could have been deployed. Now his Warden is coming really close to those other heroes, so that might... Oh, the Warden going down!
Warden is down. Queen goes to ability. Oh no. This is looking a little bit dire for Kingsman. You do not want to lose your Warden in the Warden walk. That's what Itsu was just talking about. Keeping the Warden up throughout that whole attack is essentially an extended Queen charge. But when you lose that firepower, it can be very devastating. He still does have plenty of super buffs. I think he's going to be able to recover this and be fine. But if that was earlier in the attack, that could have been very devastating. Luckily, Kingsman keeps his composure, brings it back, and it's going to be another 3-star for Team MG. Look at that celebration. Uh-oh, what has he got for us? What's he got? Itsu, was he? Oh.
What is happening?
I don't know. I'm waiting for it. Kingsman. Oh my God! Put some respect on that man's name, he says.
We know that this match has a lot of history, but they are showing it as well here on stage. Those two teams are fighting till the end. It's just really, really crazy here.
There is a deep-seated rivalry. If you know, you know. But there was a lot of things that happened throughout this season. A lot of roster changes. A lot of behind-the-scenes things. Not only the roster changes, which is essentially Hawk moving to Stamina and Max coming over to Team MG, but Synthé, a French player, formerly with this core group, played with Kingsman and TryHard for so long, now has kind of moved on. There's a little bit of feelings in there, and we see that kind of coming to fruition right there.
It is indeed, and the question now, is there a reaction? Is there a reaction now in performance or maybe in any other way on stage? That will be really interesting to find out, but I think first we should check out the next attack.
Hawk is our next attacker, kind of at the center of everything we were just speaking of. He is going to be attacking Teemper's base here with another rocket balloon strategy. I think Stamina have dialed in and made that decision. This is what we're doing the whole war. Hopefully we can get that defense. They were actually a little bit close there against Kingsman. Things didn't go to Kingsman plan, but he's able to keep it together. But Hawk is going to look to get that consistent 3-star. But we're one triple away from Team winning this war.
Yes, it's one attack away. But first, Stamina Esports need to get their own 3-star. They have went, within their opinion, the safest strategy to get those 3 stars, but first they have to deliver that, because we have seen earlier, it can happen that the Warden is going down if there's too much damage and not paying attention for just 1 second. But so far, Hawk is doing a great job of keeping his Warden alive. There goes the invisibility spells. The fireball is dropping onto that sweeper, and he's getting a massive, massive fireball, and a huge part of that base is gone. But he's now trying to get that Warden towards the Archer Queen, which yesterday has not worked so great, but you can do that.
Yeah, but it seems like that's intended. That's part of his plan. Where yesterday we saw Gaku, I don't think that was part of his plan. We didn't really pick up on that as I was talking about it on the broadcast. But this seems to be Hawk's plan, is to run that Queen with the Warden, have that double firepower in there, and then make his way into the center of this base. He does still have 16 rocket balloons. King is now in, and I think the plan is to push that Warden and Queen combination right into the middle.
Yeah, there's one more wall break. Is he going to use that now for his queen push, or is it going to be used somewhere different? Because there's quite a few compartments still open, and those Tesla might mess up the wall break. Remember, wall break tries to target closed compartments, and it's actually going for the Archer Queen. The Archer Queen is destroying it, but the wall is open, but he still is having to take down the Town Hall, which it seems like the Royal Champion is supposed to do.
I was just thinking, what is his plan for the Town Hall? But the World Champion is going to throw Rocket Spears and that Seeking Shield. She will secure the Town Hall. It is taken care of, but the Queen is under a lot of fire on the bottom. Rocket Loon's flying in, and Hawk is looking to soar through the skies with the triple for Stamina Esports.
Yeah, he is smiling. He knows, okay, this is a done deal. He's getting that 3-star in. The Town Hall has went down. The skeleton traps are popping up too late. But at this point, it feels like 3 stars is not what is needed anymore. They need quick 3 stars, and Midteam can decide the entire match with their next attack, and I believe it's Teemper attacking last, and that will be just so much pressure on this player.
Yeah, I think Stamina kind of realized after those first 2 attacks, giving up a minute 40 seconds, that's going to be near impossible to come back from, especially in this meta. Previously, maybe we did see those 60-second attacks, but that's really, really tough to get anywhere close to that. So I think they're just sticking to their guns and hoping they can force that mistake from Millicene MG.
Yeah, forcing the mistake, trusting in their base building, which they have done a lot over the last couple of months, because they were trying to hide all of their hands. They were trying to make sure the other teams do not know anything about their strategies, anything about their bases. But it seems like so far, at least on the defensive side, it's not really paying off.
Yeah, but offensively, they're fine, so they're at least feeling good about their offensive. But Teemper is going to be our next attacker, which, funny enough, Teemper's parents are also here in the crowd as well. So a little fun little storyline there, maybe added pressure. Mom and dad watching the son, getting ready to maybe secure this war. I shouldn't say secure this war. Maybe secure this war in the first victory for MMG.
Everything is on him. He's incredibly talented, has been participating in a lot of as well creative matches, and the question now is, what is he going to bring in this last deciding match? Let's find out.
Teemper will be the final attacker. He can win the war right now. I believe any 3-star, almost any 3-star, will win this war for Millicene MG. They are such a time advantage. I don't have the exact number, but it is going to be Zap Lalo, a very traditional strategy, but something he is very well versed at.
He is an incredibly good Lalo player, and he's using the Angry Jelly on that Archer Queen to get her quicker into the base, into the part where he wants to take down those buildings. He's using the lock launcher as well, so we might see a really big push, but we have seen many times in the past. If using the lock launcher, something which can be tricky is the Town Hall takedown, because sometimes we have the Tornado Tribe close by, and that with Lalo is sometimes really devastating.
Yes, it can be a tough thing to overcome, but it does go ahead and zap off the multi-archer tower builder hut there. And usually when they zap in the middle of the base there, they're looking to connect the hero push to where they zapped out. Now the King is going to go ahead and work to the right side, and that log launcher is continue to push in. But look at this, that log launcher actually taking some damage from the Wizard Tower. Log launcher is not going to get as much value as he hoped for. It does not open up that Eagle compartment. That could play a factor a little bit later.
The Queen is supposed to go into this export compartment. The Yetis were supposed to go into the Inferno Tower compartment. The Yeti might take down the... No, the Bitter Huts are keeping the Inferno Tower alive. One Yeti is making it on its way towards the Inferno Tower. That thing has to go down.
Oh, Yeti might slammed it, and it goes down. The Eagle will remain standing, but the multi-Inferno, is much more devastating. When you have balloons soaring through the skies, they can really get taken down in a hurry from a multi. Now the World Champion will look to come in and clean up the Eagle Artillery, that multi-arch tower, and that Rage Tower, and then that final multi-target Inferno. If he can get all the way through there, that will be massive value for these heroes.
I mean, take a look at what is alive at this point. It's like 2 merged cannons, it's 1 scatter, but except that, it's mostly single target, and then there's the Town Hall. That's it. So he has to make this push now work. And one thing you have to keep your eyes on, where is that Tornado Trap?
We have not seen the tornado yet. The Lalo is in charge of the rest of the base. Does have the Grand Warden, will have Eternal Tome to protect. Ice Hound flying right over. Rage is in. There goes the Warden's Eternal Tome. There's the tornado, but the Town Hall gets destroyed. A few buildings remain, and Teemper is going to secure the victory for Milliseam MG. They will take down their rivals at Stamina Esports in our first matchup.
He is here for a reason. He is here getting his team the victory with this last final attack, because even if Stamina Esports is going to triple at this stage, they're not going to have most likely that average time to win the match. Teemper going in with a complete different strategy, one of the most high skill seeding strategy in the entire game. It is not an easy thing to do whatsoever, especially in hard mode. And he's getting the job done. Well done.
Such a beautiful attack. Mom and Dad have to be proud as their son secure the victory. What a beautiful attack in the toughest spot of the war. I would never want to be that fifth attacker in that situation. But Itsu, we could have something interesting. We could have our first double perfect of the entire tournament thus far.
It could happen. Yes, it could happen indeed, with the final attacker being now Fluxxy on the Stamina Esports side as well. Their bases did not defend and what they were expecting. I think they were putting a lot of trust in their bases, just going in with this one strategy, and it wasn't the fastest one either. We have seen a similar approach yesterday from Synchronic, but they had a really fast strategy to put pressure on the other team. But I think we should watch the last attack from Fluxxy.
Fluxxy, the team captain of the Stamina Esports squad, coming in with the Rocket Loon attack, and it looks like that was their plan for the entire matchup throughout here. Such a polarizing figure in the Clash community as Fluxxy, the team captain of the squad, looking to put a perfect war on. Even though they will lose this one on time, he still wants to put up a great performance for his squad and keep that morale very high.
That's right, making sure that they are going to the next match, because remember, this is a group stage, which means, well, one victory and you're really close of making to the next day. 2 victories and you're safe. But 1 loss does not mean that you're out of this whatsoever. And we have already predicted that this group is incredibly close. And I could see this being like a 1 win, 1 loss for every single team.
Yes.
But let's first concentrate on this attack as he's getting now into the interesting part with the fireball. Should be... No, wait, he used that already?
Not sure here, not sure, because he still has 3 Invis, still has Earthquake. I'm not sure. We were kind of talking there, focused on other things. Let's see what he does here, keeping the Warden alive with the Invis. He does have a lot of setup done. Keep an eye on this King and Queen. They can't get too close to the Warden or else they will pull him away. The Warden is charging him. Their King's getting dangerously close. Uh-oh, Itsu, the King pulls the Warden away. Oh no, that's what happened to Gaku yesterday. The heroes got too close and it pulled the Warden walk away.
This is the one thing you never want to see. The heroes being too close and the Warden just joining up with them. And the Town Hall now has to go down somehow. The Rocket Speeders are coming in, but are they enough to take that out? That is the big question now, Bash.
All right, here she goes. Rage is up. Beautiful Rage. I love that play. Rage on the Royal Champion to secure that Town Hall, adjusting on the fly, making it happen. Now some Rocket Loons deployed from the bottom, just because the Warden didn't give maybe what he was supposed to, or maybe that was part of the plan. We don't know, but it seemed like the Warden was intended for the Town Hall. He does adjust perfectly there, gets the Town Hall down, but there's still a lot of defenses on the back that these heroes have to fight through, and they don't have much health left.
And especially remember, this attack can be really important later on if our prediction is going to come true with 3 teams finishing with 1 win, 1 loss, because this means that we're going to the tiebreaker where the stars are an important factor. So somehow clutching this would be massive. He's now trying to take down the second layer of defense with the Moja Inferno Tower, things which hits Queen and the Warden cannot reach. The Queen are somehow trying to stay alive, but it's only 30 seconds at this point.
It is very, very tough. That multi-arch tower in there. If the Warden didn't get pulled, that would have been taken down from the Warden walk. Uses the Rocket Loons in there. Fluxxy has everything in. He knows there's not much else he can do. He has the last minion deployed. 17 seconds, 16 seconds. We didn't talk about it much, Itsu, but if it does come down to that tiebreaker situation, it's average stars from the war, average percent, and then average time. So this is a big attack. He wants this 3-star. He needs this 3-star, but it is going to time out. It's a time fail for Fluxxy.
It is a time fail indeed. He was not able to clutch it, but who are able to clutch it is Milliceme MG. They're getting the job done. They're getting that victory in the first match, which I think for this group is just so important to set up the stage, set up the expectations for the other teams as well, because the other team in this group is Tribe Gaming. You don't want to go